Hey everyone! So is it possible that one of Apple's best products ever is this? A phone from 2016. It sounds kinda crazy to say in 2025, but this little thing, the original iPhone SE, holds a really special place for a lot of people, including me. But you know, nostalgia is one thing, usability is another. So the big question is, almost a decade later, how does this phone actually hold up? Is it still worth it? You know, I've always loved Apple's compact phones. It's kind of my thing. I've got the 12 mini here, and this is my 13 mini. But this one, the SE, really started it all for the modern era of small, powerful phones. And I know there are a lot of you out there in the same boat. Maybe you're thinking of picking one of these up for cheap. Maybe you're still using one and wondering if you're crazy. Or maybe you're just trying to decide if it's finally time to upgrade. This video is for all of you. So today we're gonna we'll talk about this iconic design, the performance you can actually expect, the battery life, which has its own story, trust me, the surprisingly charming camera, and of course the big one, the software situation. Let's get into it. So to really get why this phone is so special, you have to rewind your brain back to 2016. Apple had just moved to the bigger, rounder designs of the iPhone 6 and 6S, and they were great phones. But a ton of people really missed this. The classic sharp-edged, one-hand friendly design of the iPhone 5S. So Apple did something pretty brilliant. They took the body that everyone loved and put the brain of their flagship at the time, the iPhone 6S, right inside it. That meant you got the powerful A9 chip in this tiny familiar package. It was a special edition in the truest sense of the word, and it was a massive hit because it didn't force you to compromise on power just to get a smaller size. It was a strategic move that captured a whole market segment that felt left behind by the big phone trend, and it became a powerful, lower-cost entry point into Apple's world for a lot of people. And the design, I mean, just look at it. The space gray aluminum body, the matte chamfered edges, it just feels so solid, so incredibly well built in your hand. At only 113 grams, it is so lightweight you genuinely forget it's in your pocket, which is something I can't say for any modern phone. For one-handed use, I honestly don't think it's ever been beaten. My thumb can reach every single corner of the screen without any of the usual finger gymnastics. And it has two things that today feel like relics from a bygone era. First, a real physical clickable home button with the first generation Touch ID sensor. It's still super reliable and plenty fast for unlocking the phone. And second, the legendary 3.5mm headphone jack. For anyone who wants to use their good old wired headphones without a dongle, this is a huge deal. It honestly makes it a perfect little iPod replacement for just listening to music. Now the display, it's a 4-inch Retina LCD screen, and for what it is, it's great. It has a pixel density of 326 ppi, which is exactly the same as much larger iPhones like the iPhone 7. So text and images are perfectly sharp and clear. But let's be real, in 2025, it is small, and that's its biggest design consideration. The very thing that makes this phone a joy to hold is also what can make it a bit tricky to use with apps that were designed for screens twice this size. Okay, so how does a chip from 2016 actually perform in 2025? Honestly, you would be shocked. For basic everyday tasks, this phone is still remarkably smooth. I'm running the latest supported software, iOS 15.8.4, and just look, scrolling through menus, opening core apps like Safari, Camera, Apple Music, it's surprisingly fluid with very little stutter. Even for what I use it for, like light social media before bed, scrolling through Instagram or X, it's a totally fine experience. A lot of popular apps are still supported and work great. But you know me, I love getting some hard data. So I ran Geekbench 6 on this little SE, and it scored 634 on single core and 109 on multi-core, which is, you know, respectable for its age. But just to show you how far things have come, I also have the new iPhone 16 right here. I ran the same test on it, and the results are, well, they're kind of wild. The iPhone 16 pulled a 3216 on single core and a whopping 8058 on multi-core. So, yeah, the performance gap isn't just big, it's enormous. Yeah. But here's the thing about benchmarks, they don't tell the whole story. The reason this phone feels so much faster than its scores suggest is because of a perfect balance. That A9 chip, which was honestly overpowered for its time, is only pushing pixels on a small, low-resolution screen. It's running iOS 15, which is less demanding than the newer versions of iOS. The entire system is just incredibly efficient, which is why the day-to-day experience for basic tasks punches way above its weight class. It's a testament to how well Apple optimizes its software for its hardware. Alright, let's talk about the single biggest problem with using this phone in 2025. The battery. The original battery was only 1624 mAh, and at this point it's almost a decade old. When I first got this unit, the battery health was at 78%, and it was terrible. I was charging it 3 to 4 times a day with just light to moderate use, and this is a super common experience. The stock battery life is the #1 deal breaker for most people who try to use this phone today. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I went online and bought a third-party, higher capacity 2000 mAh battery, got my own little DIY toolkit, and I replaced it myself. Now, this is a crucial step. If you are even thinking about using this phone, you almost have to factor in a battery replacement. It's not optional. And the result? It's like a completely different phone. With the old battery, I was lucky to get a couple of hours of use. With this new 2000 mAh battery, it's a night and day difference. Because this is my secondary phone and I'm mostly on Wi-Fi at my desk, it can last for like 2 days on standby. For screen on time, I'm easily getting 4 to 5, maybe even 6 hours of moderate use. That takes it from being an unusable brick to a genuinely reliable secondary device. This one upgrade is what makes this whole experiment possible. The camera is another area where this phone really surprises me. It has a 12 megapixel sensor on the back, the same one that was in the flagship iPhone 6s. In good daylight, the photos are, well, they're great, but they're different from modern phone photos. There's way less computational photography going on, less aggressive HDR and sharpening. The result is a more natural, honest, almost film-like look. It has character. It's not technically better than a new phone, obviously, but it's really charming. And get this, it shoots 4K video at 30 FPS. That was a huge deal back in 2016, and it's still perfectly usable today for casual videos. The quality holds up surprisingly well. The front camera though, that's where you really feel the age. It's only 1.2 megapixels. For a quick FaceTime call, it's fine, but for modern selfies, it's pretty soft and really struggles in low light. It's definitely the weakest link in the whole camera system. Okay, this is probably the most important section for anyone seriously considering this phone. The iPhone SE is permanently stuck on iOS 15. It will not get iOS 16, 17, or any future updates. The good news is that Apple has been amazing with its software longevity, providing security patches for iOS 15 well into 2025, which is incredible. So from a security standpoint, for basic use, it's been okay. But the lack of major OS updates is a ticking clock for app support. Well, like I said, a lot of my core apps like Instagram, X, YouTube, and even my banking apps still work perfectly fine today. This is changing. Some apps, especially from developers like Google, can be pretty aggressive about dropping support for older operating systems. Some banking apps already require iOS 16 or higher, and the official ChatGPT app, for example, won't run. This is the biggest risk you take with this phone. It's not that it will stop working tomorrow, but its capabilities will slowly shrink over time. So to put it all in one place, what are the things you really need to consider before buying this? 1. App support is on borrowed time. 2. You absolutely must replace the battery for it to be usable. 3. The 4-inch screen can be a real problem for some modern apps that aren't designed for it, with buttons sometimes getting cut off at the bottom. And 4, you're missing nearly a decade of quality of life improvements. There's no 5G, no Face ID, no MagSafe or wireless charging, and that front camera is very dated. So after all that, is the original iPhone SE still worth it in 2025? As your one and only primary phone, for most people, I have to say no. The shrinking app support and the potential security risks down the line are just too high for a device you need to depend on every single day. But that's not the whole story. As a secondary device, it's one of the best you can get. For the person who wants a dedicated music player with a headphone jack, it's perfect. For someone who wants a digital detox phone with just the essentials to escape the noise of a modern smartphone, it's fantastic. Or for someone like me who just loves the feel of a truly compact, well-made device for basic tasks, it's an absolute joy to use. It's a flawed masterpiece, a beautiful piece of tech history that, thanks to Apple's incredible software longevity, is still surprisingly capable. It's a reminder of a time when phones were designed for our hands, not to consume our lives. It's not for everyone, but for the right person with the right expectations, the magic is definitely still there. But hey, that's just my take. I would love to know what you all think. Did you have one of these? Are you maybe still rocking one for certain things? Let me know your stories and memories down in the comments below. As always, thanks so much for watching. If you found this useful or just enjoyed the trip down memory lane, definitely hit that like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this. I'll catch you in the next one.